Hello, good evening, and welcome to Friday night is organ music night again, and possibly one of the final performances with the old Mac. Now, as promised, or as you saw hopefully earlier in the week, we started looking at the components of the new PC, and they're all still sitting there, and we're going to be putting the PC together. Got too many letters. The PC together, not over the weekend, but possibly, well, maybe on Sunday. We've had a crazy busy week, and I don't want to sit and put the PC together, a bit here and a bit there, and a bit here and a bit there. I want to sit down and take my time, do it slowly, do it properly, and more importantly, do it safely. And hopefully do it correctly. So I'm not going to rush it. It's too expensive, it's too delicate, and it's too precious. So we're going to be careful, and we're going to do it over the weekend. So sorry for that. We haven't been able to update you on that. But things are sort of still working here. I was playing around with some organs earlier today, and, well, funnily enough, they were all crackling and popping and making funny noises, except for one of the largest organs I have on all of them, and it is, of course, the organ in Nancy Cathedral over in France, which is just stupidly large. But we're going to play around with that tonight. And we're going to play around with the theatre organ again tonight, because we haven't done that for a long, long time. Very good indeed. So here we are. It's Friday night, is organ music night. Now we have a few, as usual, we have a few sad occasions tonight to talk about. It would seem that the world of British pop music the legends of British pop music are sadly and slowly sort of passing away, which is rather frightening. And we will be having a look at two musicians from the British music world, one from the 70s and one from the 80s, later on this evening. I'm sure if you've been following the news, you will know who I'm talking about. Things that have probably never really been played on the organ before, but we'll certainly have some fun with it. Now, of course, we have some requests, and we'll be covering those requests. If you have spontaneous requests, gang@gartshore.de is the address, Mrs. G. Yeah. Tell the world, tell the folks what's coming. Rasbaz, more Gershwin to come. Yes, always more Gershwin to come. I love Gershwin, one of the finest composers in the world. Definitely. That's my generation. Is that, Jeff, do you mean George Gershwin is your generation, or do you mean sort of the 70s and 80s, much like me? Yes, so anyway, lots to do tonight, lots to cover tonight, and, my goodness, lots of news. Lots of news. So, lots to do. Let's get going with some music. And I think because it's that time of year, yesterday was Ascension Day, or if you don't speak German, the next word I'm going to say is incredibly hilarious, Himmelfahrt, which means heading off to heaven, so Ascension basically. Why am I looking at Advent hymns? That makes no sense. And there are some absolutely wonderful Ascension hymns in... By the way, the noises you hear in the background are Vanessa's nose being emptied on a regular basis. Yes, she's having a hell of a time at the moment with the wonderful world of pollen, exactly, and it's driving her absolutely insane. Look, German hymn books are happy rainbows of beautiful colour. There you are. I bet you didn't know that. Now, here is a German hymn. Melody 1846, so that's right in our period of, shall we say, romantic goodies. So who was around in 1846? Certainly none of us. At least I hope not. And this is an absolutely wonderful one. It's called Öffnet eure Tore, Fürsten, öffnet sie. So, open your door, open your gates, princes, so the princes of heaven presumably, open them. Look, the king is coming up, or coming in, or the king is here, the king is about to enter, that kind of thing. I'm not very good at translating fancy stuff like that, but that's the idea, and it's all about Ascension, and it's an absolute corker of a hymn, so here it is. I'm going to give it the Gartshore treatment. Ready for this? That's a good old noise, isn't it? Good old noise. Now, a lot of people, believe it or not, can I have a tasty beverage, please, Mrs. Gartshore? Teamwork, ladies and gentlemen, teamwork from the corner of the room to the middle of the room. The glass is being filled with delicious, delicious liquid gold, which is fizzy water with a bit of lime juice in it. Cheers. Ah, that's better. Oh, it's very dry at the moment. I don't know what it's like for your part of the world. Now, a lot of people, when I did the unboxing video of the computer components, here, show me a box of stuff to prove it's not, give me the processor. That there, yes. Da-da-da-dum, she said, look, it's an i9 processor, unlocked, whatever that means. What does that mean, it's unlocked? You would hope it's unlocked, because then it wouldn't work, surely. So in here, there's an i9 processor, 12th generation, with lots of things. Cores and threads, or whatever processors have. I know nothing about these things, I just hope it works. And when we did the unboxing, it's very bizarre. It's like posting a video with Bach's organ music. You're gonna get lots of comments. And I think it's the most commented video I've ever had for the time it's been online, the unboxing computer video. Thank you. There, you can put the processor back. Don't drop it. Thank you. And a lot of people have been saying some very good things, very helpful things. So thank you very much for that. That's all very good. Now, some people actually commented and said, why do you need a new PC? What's it all about? Will it sound any different? And that's actually a very good question, because theoretically it should sound different. Everything should sound just that little bit better. Now, problem here is you are watching this on YouTube, and you are watching the live streams on YouTube, and the live streams are being sent via a connection, via various connections and cables, from a sound and audio interface there to an ATEM Mini from Blackmagic Design, which is a streaming device that then sends its signal out to YouTube. And YouTube, of course, takes everything that's sent to it and goes and compresses it down to fit into its, into its channel, basically. And when I do a normal YouTube video, in other words, not a live stream, but a properly recorded and uploaded video, then I always take the audio and I tweak the audio a little bit to compensate for YouTube's compression. I know how YouTube compresses things. I've talked to studio people about this, and I sort of reverse that before they compress it, yeah? Oh, spontaneous requests are being printed out in the background. So I kind of know what I'm doing there, but of course you can't decompress the sound on a live stream. So during live streams, I'm not sure we're going to hear much of a difference. Now, yes, there will be a definite difference in things like this. When I have a full organ here, for example, like this, and I'm playing crashing big chords. Now, if you listen very carefully, I'll do it again in a minute so you can hear what I'm talking about. You can hear some of the notes in the background stop sounding. They sort of disappear. The tails of the notes disappear. So when I play a note here, and when I let go of that note, there's a huge amount of reverb flying around the church, yeah? And that's all been recorded and digitally sampled, and it's been recreated by this software, and so on and so on and so on. Now, I'm not going to count, but I've got, I don't know, well over 50 stops there, okay? So 50 stops, so there are 50 different pipe samples sounding when I press that key, yeah? Yeah, there are. That's just the way it works. So of course, if I'm playing with all 10 fingers, which I regularly do here on 2 feet, yeah. So I've got 12 notes sounding at the same time. 12 notes times 50 pipes times all the different samples that are going on in there. So there's a hell of a lot going on in there, and the processor has to take care of that, manage all of that. And we're talking many thousands of samples that are sounding at the same time, sounding simultaneously, yeah? And this old machine with its quad-core processor, it can't do that. And there's like a kind of, Jerry Martin, our friend Jerry Martin told me this, you have to think of it like a cruise control on your car, yeah? It sort of keeps everything at a sort of steady, yeah? A safe limit, as it were, and it won't let things go above that limit, yeah? It just sort of holds things there, and everything coming up to that limit's fine and it'll work. And as soon as it hits that limit, it starts sort of cutting other stuff off. And this has a relatively low polyphony. We're talking about polyphony here. This has a relatively low polyphony setting. If you know anything about Hauptwerk, this computer maxes out at a polyphony setting of about 4,000, which sounds like a lot. Is it a lot? It's not really. It's not at all. Most modern sample sets require at least 8,000 polyphony, and that's even the smaller ones. So, you know, some of the big ones, this one, when it's really up and running on a multi-core processor like that, it will probably be set at, I don't know, between 10 and 12,000 polyphony. And then, of course, all the sounds that are being created, they all sound at their proper length. All the samples can do what they're supposed to do. So the sound will theoretically be much more authentic. I think that's what I'm trying to say eventually, yes? And the computer won't be doing any sort of, you know, funny processing to cut things off to make sure that new notes sound. It's all very complicated. So the simple answer is yes, it will sound better, but you're going to have to listen carefully to notice it. It will feel better, and I think that's the most important thing. And it will also be a damn sight more stable. That's much more important. So when I'm playing big crashy chords, you know, with everything loaded into the system at its full quality, its highest quality, then yes, obviously, it will sound better. So, win-win for everybody. That's the whole point. So anyway, enough of that. Yes, Mike, I'm sorry, I lost myself. I practiced that little session, what I was going to say earlier, and I kind of lost myself. But yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. All of these things will be, all of these things will hopefully work as expected. I dare say it will. Well, of course it will. It has to. Let's do another one of these Ascension style hymns, but this time I will calm things down and show you some of the softer sounds of this wonderful organ. it would appear a lot of people are talking about sight reading. Marek and Rien and a number of others are talking about sight reading. And Vanessa is saying that someone has given me something to sight read.
Ich habe 2 Sachen.
2 things to sight read.
Also das ist ein persönliches Geschenk von Rien. Weil du das so sehr liebst, meinte er.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Rien, you can take this and roll it up and put it in a pipe and smoke it. Rien has just given me a piece of music by my favorite composer of all time, Mr. Rieger. And I'm going to put that where I put everything else from Rieger. There we are, there's that gone.
Das ist Papierverschwendung.
I'll use that paper for something much more useful later.
Wieso spielst du das nicht, Rieger?
Oh, Rieger is horrible. Sorry. No, there are certain things I refuse in my life, and funnily enough, Olivier Latry and me agree on this thing, that organ music by Rieger is we just don't do it. We don't do it. I've never liked Rieger's organ music. I must confess, I just don't like. It doesn't do anything for me. Rieger, I think it was just a very bad-tempered man of his time, and that comes across in his music. And it's very angry and aggressive music, and that's not for me. Sorry about that. So there's something else I can sight read apparently. It's not the same. Okay, hold on a minute. What was that? Give me that Rieger back, please, a minute. I'm sorry, I threw it down there. Sorry, I'm tight. I can't move from here. I've got cameras here, cables everywhere. So I'm a prisoner in my own organ room. What is this? That's it's kind of the same thing. There's a picture of the composer. If you could see the picture of this composer here, Max Rieger, on this little sheet of paper, you understand exactly what I mean. He just looks like a sort of bad-tempered old git, which he was. Anyway, sorry. Yes, so if you're a great fan of Rieger, then I do apologize, because there must be something I'm missing, because Gesundheit. There must be something I'm missing, because it just doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. However, this does, and this would appeal to Rien as well. This is one of Rien's favorite composers. Who was this? Who requested this? Hold on, the nose is being emptied. Sorry. It's a piece of music by Dubois, which is always good fun. I love Dubois, and I don't know this. It says it's an edit. It's an edition. Edit. Dominic Eckhard. I know Dominic Eckhard. Oh, cool. We played a concert. I played a concert earlier this year in the winter time on a very stormy day. Was it beginning of February or was it January still? Wann waren wir in Wiesbaden? War das Januar oder Februar? Can't remember. We went to play a concert in Wiesbaden, in the church where that organ with the 1 million click video is. And sadly, due to terrible weather on the day, not that many people could make it. It was huge, credible winter storms. It was really quite frightening. But we met Dominic Eckhard, who turned up. So is Dominic here tonight? Dominic, bist du da? Yes, he's there. On the 8th of February, he's even writing. Thank you, Dominic. Yes, and we met Dominic Eckhard, and he's Eckhard, and he's requested this. Now, this is sight reading, ladies and gentlemen. This is a piece of music by Théodore Dubois, who lived between 1837 and 1924. It's a marche sortie, so it's a recessional from the church, and it says Grand Chœur. So in other words, all the big guns. Let's have that. That looks pretty good to me. That sounds pretty good. And I don't know it, so I've never seen it before, but it looks sort of almost sight readable. Oh, I need to change registrations in the middle. What number am I on here? I'm on 21, and we'll go back to, well, that's a bit far, isn't it? Back to 10, oh, that's a bit far. 21, and we'll go back to 17. Does that look good? could be a bit loud, so I might take that. That might be a bit much. That might work better. Bear with me, I'm thinking ahead. 17. All right, we'll go to 17 and we'll take that off. Bit of clicking in the middle to change things, but very spontaneous. Right, this is his March sortie in G major, moderato ma con allegrezza. Okay, so not too fast, but very lively. Okay, well, let's do that then. Let's see what we can do with that. And we need to go to FF at the end. I think we can manage that, don't you? Okay. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba. And it's a march in a French style. Let's see what we can do. This is for Dominic. Yeah, I like that. I like that kind of stuff. That's the kind of music you can sight read, because you kind of know what it's going to do in advance. Having said that, I got that a little bit. There's one bit I got wrong every time, because I thought it did something. I thought, where is it? Let's have a look. Here it is. Actually, I didn't get it wrong. I didn't. It does that. It does do that. Okay, I got it right. Okay, sorry. I thought I was getting it wrong, but it sounded I was getting it right. So it turns out I was getting it right. Sorry about that. There you are. That was for Dominic, and that was Marche Sortie by Théodore Dubois. I like that a lot. Good. I'm going to add that to the collection of regulars. Now then, I have here a lead sheet. What is a lead sheet, I hear you ask? A lead sheet is what a jazz musician would grab and start improvising around with. And it's basically a melody with harmonies, with chord symbols underneath it, or in this case, above it. And this is a piece of music. It's a piece of music from my youth. My mum will recognize this. My mum very much liked this performer and had many albums by this performer. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm going to play around with it and then I'm going to launch into it, like I sort of usually do. And this wasn't a direct request, but it was kind of a request. Actually, I think we will start off dead soft, but there. And play around with this. I got a message recently, or was it even an email, I can't remember now, from a viewer asking if I could sort of talk them through what the hell I'm doing when I'm improvising. And the simple answer is no, not really. For the simple reason I never really sort of know what I'm going to do next. My brain sort of takes control. My brain sort of takes my fingers to places that I think they need to go. And I'm not really sort of conscious of what I'm up to. It's sort of doing it all by itself. I'm sure if I concentrated, I could tell you what I'm doing. The plan is, oh, Vanessa is leaving the room. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa has left the room. She needs to blow her nose. When I lived in Scotland, I suffered from rotten hay fever all the time. And then when I left at the age of 27, I've hardly had any hay fever since. That's weird, isn't it? Normally it's the other way around. Young people have no hay fever, and as they get older, hay fever appears. But in my case, it's the other way around. Maybe I'm becoming younger in my brain as the older I get. But yeah, I hardly suffer from it at all these days. And poor Vanessa gets it rotten. So spare a thought for poor Vanessa, who's busy working in the background to keep us going here. Keep us going. Why am I even looking over there? She's not there. That's Vanessa's desk, her desk of dignity. Shall we call it desk of dignity? Is that a good name for a desk? I don't know. It's a desk covered in tissues full of pollen-infested snot at the moment. There you are. You didn't need to know that, did you? But I'm being graphic. I'm showing you I'm describing what I see when I look over there. Poor Vanessa. Let's all have a big sort of awe for Vanessa. Now, after this request, it's birthday time, which means we all get to sing happy birthday. But I'm not going to tell you who it's for yet, and don't spoil the surprise in the chat. Not yet. Not yet. So, here we go. Let's see if you can work out what this is. You might be able to. Well, Adrian Morris was the first to get it. I think Adrian Morris was the first. I was trying to keep an eye on the chat while I was doing that. That was, of course, Jimmy Webb's wonderful composition. Yes, the wonderful Jimmy Webb wrote that. And it was, of course, the Wichita Lineman, sung by Glenn Campbell. There you are. I don't know why I decided to come up with that. It was a kind of request. It wasn't a direct request, but I was digging around for music that had sort of crazy harmonies that you could, you know, improvise around on and hopefully hide a little bit. And then eventually, of course, you get the you get more of the elements of the melody there, and someone like Adrian Morris goes, "Oh, I recognize that." Adrian's good. Adrian recognizes a lot of these things. So there you are. There you are. That was the Wichita Lineman. And like I say, that's the sort of stuff, you know, I used to, on sort of rare occasions when Mum would put on a record at home, it would probably be something like that. I remember hearing that in all those days. Now, we have to do this. We absolutely have to do this. It's birthday boy time. I'm putting the music there for in a moment. It's birthday boy time. And earlier this week, on Wednesday, in fact, so 2 days ago, one of the longest standing members of the online Gartshore gang here, Jez M. And Jez M is definitely, Jez is here tonight, isn't he? Of course he is. Yes, he is. Jez is here tonight. Jez, am I allowed to say this, Jez? I'm going to anyway. Jez turned 70. It was his birthday 2 days ago. He turned 70. So let's have a quick rendition of Happy Birthday for Jez. And we're going to sing it in, well, we'll sing it in English, and then we can't sing it in Welsh, can we? Does anyone know Happy Birthday in Welsh? If you know the words to Happy Birthday in Welsh, put them up there in the chat now while we are putting, while we're doing the English version. All right, here we go. Let's sing it 3 times because it was a round birthday, being 70. So 3 different languages, whatever you fancy. Tanti auguri a te. Do it in Italian if you want. Joyeux anniversaire. Do it in French if you want. Do it in English. Do it in... There's a Filipino version. Whose birthday is it as well? CC Big Stew. It's Big Stew's birthday as well. Right, well in that case we'll do it 4 times. Okay, we'll do it 4 times. We'll start in F major and go up a semitone every time. 3 for Jez and 1 for Stew. There we are. Ready, Jez? This is for you. Paul, that's a big acoustic, isn't it? Happy birthday, Jez. Jez M. Congratulations. I know you've had a bit of a rotten week as well, but let's be positive. Enjoy your birthday. Enjoy your 70th birthday and many, many more to come. And thank you for being a regular part of the Gartshore gang. We very much appreciate having you around. And of course, we're always very grateful to your generous donations, which come in. Nothing tonight, that was for you tonight, so don't worry about that. Yes, on the subject of donations, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for continuing to support us. Mrs. G and I have been having a think over the past few weeks, and it's always been our dream. It's always been our dream, but it's always been my dream to have my own television show. Going back many, many years. And this is as close as we're probably going to get. So, but it's always been our dream since we started this to maybe one day turn this into a proper full-time job. A full-time job. And that's difficult because a full-time job means stability and financial stability. And this is a difficult one. And Vanessa and I have been thinking of ideas to well, basically to give enough back to you so that you are willing then to provide us with that financial stability that we would require to turn this into a full-time enterprise, which is basically what we want to do. We are currently revamping our Patreon page. Now, if you are already a Patreon member, you will know this already. You will know this already, and we're sort of revamping that. It will be, we're going to do it in English and in German. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a kind of sort of, it's not a crowdfunding site, but it's a site where you can regularly, i.e. monthly or annually, donate certain levels of donations to an entity, in this case us. And over time that becomes, sort of builds itself up and, becomes a regular source of income. That's the idea. And the idea is, of course, that we use that, we give you extras as a thank you to say, thank you very much for that. Now we also have similar things here, for example, on PayPal. You can donate something to us via the PayPal link, a PayPal link that Vanessa posts all the time there. And apparently, I didn't know this, apparently you can set, she keeps an eye on these things, not me, I'm useless. She keeps an eye on that. Apparently you can set it up so that you have a regular PayPal donation thing as well, a monthly thing. And quite a few people are doing that as well. So, those people that are already sort of donating on a regular monthly basis, not regular like, oh, here's a bit here, here's a bit there, but regular every month, on the same date kind of thing every month. We're going to include you in the Patreon sort of extras. And of course we have here YouTube members as well. You see YouTube members, they have a little symbol behind the name. They appear in green in the chat. And that shows they're a YouTube member, which means they pay Google money to be a member of the channel, as it were. And those are the sort of the kind of options. But we're going to not concentrate, but we're going to bump up the Patreon side of things because that's the safest way to do it. Obviously PayPal is as well, but there's a sort of a regularity to the whole thing. And we're going to sort of vamp this up over the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know about it. We'll do a dedicated video telling you exactly what we're on about. And we've introduced a new level on Patreon. There's various levels of things, and that will be a rather sort of exciting new level with a rather interesting extra for its members. Now, should you be a member of a level above that new level, then obviously you are automatically a member of that. So don't worry about it. You don't have to join twice. Nothing like that. So anyway, enough about that. Enough money chat at the moment. We are always incredibly grateful to everything that comes in. Our plan is to try to sort of what's the word? Stability, as I think. Try to make the whole thing a bit more stable so that we know where we are, and we can then start concentrating on other things at the same time and gradually make this a full-time enterprise, which is what we've always wanted, and I'd like to think it's what you want as well. And it does then, of course, mean we free up other time to get back out and about and see some real instruments again. More on that very, very soon. I have some exciting news about certain local organs that are being enlarged, but not yet. More on that very, very soon. Okay, Steve Carter. Steve Carter has a question. Yes, can recommend PayPal monthly. Come on, how much for 8 concerts a month? Oh my goodness, 8 concerts a month, Steve. Well, we do 8 concerts a month, don't we? 2 every week, 1 every Friday, 1 every Sunday. That is 8 a month. Haha.
Und Viv fragt, wie man wechseln kann zwischen den Leveln.
Viv C has asked. That's a good question. I think if you log into, well, if you're part of the Patreon team already, if you log in, I think you can change your levels within that. I'm not terribly sure myself, but I'm guessing you can upgrade. I'm not sure. Anyway, if you have questions about those things, do let us know. gang@gartshore.de is always our address. And we'll be carrying on. Mike, will you do more car fixing videos? Yes, we have one planned because our little car has died and we need to do some serious heart surgery on it. So that's going to be coming very soon. We're running around in my company car at the moment. I have I call it a company car. I have a company car leased I leased it 3 years ago as a freelance musician because we're driving around all over the place doing all sorts of things. And then Corona struck, so I've been stuck with this lease car for 3 years, and at the moment we're using that and nothing else. Because the other one, our normal daily runaround car, which is a much smaller, more economical car, it died. But more on that on the Gartshores Garage channel. While we're talking about Gartshores channels, Vanessa, what's with your channel? We have to continue, she says. Yes, Vanessa's channel is on hold at the moment because of pollen reasons. Every time I point a camera at her, she starts dribbling and sneezing. And that's not very pretty, is it? At the moment, it's terrible at the moment, so with the pollen. But yes, but don't worry, Gartshores Garage and Gartshores Garden are coming back very soon. And while that is obviously part of the grand Gartshore enterprise that we are building at the moment, that's not the main part of it. This will always be the main part of it. Don't worry, folks. So, sorry, enough financial chat. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you very much for your assistance. Without you, none of this would ever have been possible. And without your continued support, we're not going to be able to keep going like we are just now. So thank you very, very much indeed. Now, sad news came to the world a couple of days ago when Alan White, who's Alan White, I hear you say? Well, Alan White was a rather famous drummer. Here it is. Alan White was a very famous drummer. He was the drummer in the band. Well, he wasn't the original drummer, but he was the longest running drummer in the band, Yes. The prog rock British band, Yes. I think Alan joined them in, oh God, correct me if I'm wrong, the early 80s, mid 80s, something like that, and was their drummer forever. But before that, he was doing some really exciting stuff, and I bet you didn't know this. He was John Lennon's drummer. Did you know that? I didn't. And I thought I knew everything about the Beatles and what they became after the Beatles. And it turns out that, that Alan White was John Lennon's drummer of choice, which is very interesting indeed. And he sadly died a couple of days ago at the age of, I think, 72, something like that, early 70s. And he left us. And there are some wonderful recordings out there now. Of course, I would love to, I think one night we're going to do a prog rock night here on the channel, and I will be performing stuff by Yes, because let's not forget, you know, some of the finest keyboard wizardry of it all was found in the band Yes back in the 70s. And it's absolutely wonderful stuff, and 80s of course, but the really early stuff was probably the best stuff. Roundabout, ooh. That's one I'm definitely going to get under my fingers, and we'll do that at some point in the future. But for today, I thought we'd go back to John Lennon to play a tiny little tribute to Alan White for his drumming genius. And I've chosen a piece of music that he was hardly audible in. It's John Lennon's most famous solo piece. We've played it before on the channel, but I'm going to play it now as a sort of a little sort of tribute to, well, to Alan and John, I suppose. I think you will recognize it from the very, very first chords. John Lennon's Imagine there as a little tribute to Alan White, one of the legendary, or the legends of British pop music who left us this week. Now, yesterday, oh my goodness, yesterday we very sadly lost the keyboarder of, we lost Andy Fletcher, keyboarder from Depeche Mode, Fletch as he was called by his bandmates, and despite being, and this is, you know, this is how horrible the world can be. Despite being, you know, a member of one of the highest earning bands of all time, they never had a #1 hit, but it doesn't matter. But they were one of the highest earning bands of all time, and Andy Fletcher was pretty much the band's manager, and you know, he composed a lot of the music. So royalty-wise, you know, I mean, we're talking serious amounts of wealth here. He was a happily married guy for well over 30 years. He had a happy family and all the rest of that. But his entire life, he suffered from terrible depression. Now, we don't know if this had anything to do with his death. We don't know anything about it. At least yesterday we didn't, and I haven't heard any news today. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. It's a terrible loss for the music world. And everyone sort of imagines, John Lennon there. Everyone imagines that, you know, if you have the sort of the fame and fortune of that kind of lifestyle, that you cannot obviously have any problems. But sadly, that is not the case. So poor old Andy Fletcher suffered for most of his life from depression, and he is sadly no longer with us. He was only 60. He was only 60. So that's Depeche Mode depleted somewhat. And I think to sort of go along with the quiet and gentle mode there from Imagine, we have to do, at least thematically, a slightly more gentle Depeche Mode now. I bet no one's ever played Depeche Mode on a French cathedral organ before. This is probably an international first. So I'm going to improvise around the harmonies and melodies of Depeche Modes. Get ready for this. Enjoy the Silence. There's a good piece. Enjoy the Silence as a tribute to Andy Fletcher. Ooh, that was cool actually. With something very sort of, I don't know, almost meditative, almost chant-like about sort of chords that repeat themselves in circles like that. Very clever indeed. Very clever indeed. Right, a request for a piece of film music. Herr Huflattich. Is Herr Huflattich here tonight? Herr Huflattich is Herr Huflattich here tonight? Herr Huflattich, bist du heute da? He's not there tonight. Oh, well then I won't play it tonight if he's not there. I'll play it on Sunday then. He's not there. All right, well, I'll save it for Sunday then, because a beautiful piece of music requested by Mr. Herr Huflattich, whoever that is. We do know his real name, but all right, we'll save that for Sunday in that case. What's that? Vanessa's got something else. Uh-oh. What's this? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, that is definitely something. No. We will save that for, oh, that's kind of cool. We're definitely going to save that for our prog rock night. Oh, that's brilliant. Nice one. Our friend Gleiswanderer has just sent an actual score for something by Rick Wakeman. Now that is actually so cool. I'm going to get in touch with Rick Wakeman and let him know. I got in touch with Rick Wakeman late last year, and I actually asked him if he was interested in an interview for the channel. Because I don't know if you know this about Rick Wakeman, and this is a good link to what I'm about to do. Rick Wakeman is a great theatre organ enthusiast. Bet you didn't know that. And I got in touch with his management or his security or whatever, and so with the idea of getting hold of Rick for an interview for the channel to talk about his, well, obviously him and his life and everything he does, because it's just, you know, it's unbelievable that, you know, he's one of the legends of music in general. Wonderful chap, studied music and then went on to do sort of prog rock crazy stuff and everything else he's done. And at the time, Rick was getting ready for a tour, going off on tour, and I think he's still on tour. I think he's getting ready to finish that tour. So I will get back onto them, and then we will see if we can arrange something. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? Can't promise anything, but if anyone out there has contact, if anyone out there from down southwest, down Rick's way, if maybe someone knows him personally or something, put in a good word for me, and we'll maybe get that sorted out, because that would be really good fun indeed. He sounds like the most incredibly knowledgeable but hilariously funny guy as well, right up the Gartshore gang street. So it would be good fun if we could get him on board at some point. Rick Wakeman is indeed fantastic. So let's see if we can get some theatre organ style music to coax him out of his southwestern shed down in the southwest of the UK, and let's play this. This is a piece of music that was requested a very, very long time ago, and I'm not going to tell you who by, but I am going to warn you that there's going to be a very, very special concert coming up in, hold on, what's today, Friday? In 4 days' time. In 4 days' time, we're going to have a very special dedicated concert. There's a guy here, regular of the Gartshore gang for a very, very long time. One of our closest friends, one of our most generous gang members out there. And it's his birthday coming up, and we're going to surprise him with a dedicated concert. I say surprise him. We've been in touch talking about pieces of music he might want to hear for this thing, but I'm going to surprise you with it as well. So don't do anything on Sunday. It's Sunday? Tuesday. Don't do anything on the coming Tuesday. Yeah? So the usual time, usual place, but on Tuesday we're going to be doing something very special indeed. More on that nearer the time. Here is a piece of theatre organ music. A beautiful piece from actually from the very early 50s. Everyone thinks this is earlier than that. Everyone thinks this is from the 30s. So it's actually from the 50s. And it's a great piece of music. And it's for all those farmers out there who've been suffering from drought. It's called Here's That Rainy Day. here's, or that was, that rainy day. And we're back. We're back at the magnificent Morton, the Wonder Morton 4 manual. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 manual. 23 rank, sorry. 23 rank Morton theatre organ. This was sampled for Hauptwerk by Mellowtone Sound Productions, by the way, a South African get-up. And yeah, they're definitely doing some good stuff down there. Just got a message there. We have a wonderful request from Jez M, and we'll do it on Sunday. I won't say anything about it. We'll do it on Sunday. Do it on Sunday. Wonderful stuff. And Joe Humans had just noticed that we did. What am I calling it again? Here's That Rainy Day. Did he send the YouTube video from it or something? No, Joe just sent us a message there for the Frank Sinatra version. That would be cool. How about a very old jazz tune from the very beginnings of the jazzy... Hold on. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, I think we'll use this set of registrations because there's a piano on this one, which is kind of good. Tech Turtle, I mentioned this a minute ago. This is the Melotone Sound Productions Wonder Morton 423 sample set. So there you are. Company is Melotone Sound Productions, and this is the Wonder Morton. I have, of course, tweaked around with the sound and the reverb on there. It's a very dry sounding organ without it. This is, oh, I don't know, I'm sure you'll recognize it. A very, very old jazz tune indeed. the Darktown Strada's Ball, composed by somebody called Brooks in 1915. 1915, my goodness me. None of us were around in those days. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that brilliant? I love that kind of music. You can just go for it with that kind of stuff. Absolutely wonderful stuff. I'm not going to play that. I had a request for a really rather bizarre piece of music that I'm not going to play. Oh, hold on. We can do this stuff. We can do this. Turning a theatre organ into a big band is not difficult. Was it Tech Turtle who wrote to me and said, tell us how to do these secrets you do? I think it may have been. I must dig around again. I think it was. And yeah, the theatre organ in particular is very clever. It was, of course, designed to emulate an orchestra and not an organ as such. So you have all these wobbly effects. Yeah, they're designed to sort of, come up with the vibrato you might find on a string player when he or she is playing, or they in this day and age, and and a bunch of saxophones playing with that lovely sort of warm vibrato that they have while they're playing. And you can turn an organ into a big band very easily. You use your feet to play the bass. You use your left hand to play the rhythm. Now, this is quite clever. There's something here called a harp. It's actually a marimba. Let me play it to you on its own. It's this. It's a marimba, but when you sort of, it sounds like a harp, doesn't it? Does that sound like a harp? Could do. And it comes at different octaves. You can have great fun with that. But what you can do is then with other noises, it provides a sort of bit of rhythm there. So it's like you've got a sort of a guitarist strumming chunk, 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 like Freddie Green in the Count Basie band sort of thing. And this organ doesn't have it, but real theatre organs have something called second touch, which is when you press a note, you press the note further, a second set of springs activate different stops. Ho, 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 ho. So you get you can hold melodies. I'll play it with, you use your thumb basically and maybe one finger. So you've got like that, yeah, chords. I'm using my left foot down in the bottom there to do some things, but I can play a melody. Yeah, and the chords, all with one hand. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. So if you have the second touch activated, you can have a different melody going on there, which leaves your right hand free to do all the other stuff. So whether it's doing a melody or whether it's doing or whether it's being the brass in the big band. So there you've got the trumpets and trombones. Here you've got the saxophones. And here, trumpets, no, let's say saxophones and trombones there. Kind of idea, yeah? And you can play around with it. And of course I've got different things in there. Different registrations, different combinations of stops to make different sounds. And hopefully give you a sort of big band effect. Now, something you can do, which not many people do, which I think is a terrible shame, is you can sort of play what's called block chords. Yeah? So you use both hands and play big block chords like a full big band would. And you've just got your rhythm and your bass down in your feet. So let's see if I can get away with that and play a piece of music called, it was written by Rodgers and Hart in the late 30s, and it's called Have You Met Miss Jones? Sounds hopefully something like this. Have you met Miss Jones? Given the big band style there. Yeah, with even a bit of solo pedals in there too. A bit of solo double bass down at the bottom. Now, if we're going to be playing jazz stuff on the organ, then we have to play some stuff by the wonderful Fats Waller. And I think... Is Colin here tonight? Colin is not here tonight. Let's play. Oscar Peterson. That kind of was from Oscar Peterson. There's a wonderful Oscar Peterson version of that. Have you met Miss Jones? Where he does that. He does block calls. All that kind of stuff. As only Oscar Peterson can do. Okay. We're going to get ready to close off this evening's celebrations with a piece of music by Fats Waller. And this is one of his more slow bluesy numbers. Let's change this to... What should we change this to? Oh, let's change it to the really dirty bluesy stuff. Actually, hold on. That was the really dirty bluesy stuff we were on a minute ago. Oh, sorry. It's a set of registrations I've got called Chicago Blues. And there's lots of naughty sounds in there. That kind of stuff. Here's Fats Waller's Blue Turning Grey Over You. The Wonderful World of Thomas Fats Waller, Blue Turning Grey Over You. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting very close to midnight, which means it's the naughty time, which means it's time for us to say cheery bye. It's been a long week, and I hope you've had a good one. We've certainly had a good week, haven't we, Mrs. G? We've had a very good week. Have we had a very good week? She's nodding slowly. Yes, have we not had a good week? We've had a sort of a normal week, she says. We had a good week. We had lots of positivity this week, didn't we?
Yes.
Didn't we? Didn't? Oh, every week is a positive week, she said. It's just, I felt it was a positive week. So anyway, there we are. And Vanessa, of course, being the realist in the relationship. But yes, nothing. Alice, good, very good. I thought it's been a very good week. We'll be back on Sunday night, of course, for Sunday night is organ music night. And we will also be back maybe tomorrow night with a spontaneous video about putting the PC together. I'm not sure. We may wait till Monday for that. Also Monday Vanessa's not there, so I'd have to film it by myself, and that's going to be a disaster. Ugh. Film it and put it together. It's not going to work, is it? We can maybe do it on Sunday. That's a good idea. So anyway, yes, we'll be getting there. Now, that's the way to do it. Now, before I forget, yes, on Tuesday, soll ich sagen, was wir am Dienstag machen und für wen? Ein bisschen schon, ja, ein bisschen. Aber nicht konkret. Ich erwähne das in einem extra Video. Soll ich mit Dienstag sagen, für wen und warum und so? Yeah, okay, right. Tuesday night will be special organ music night. Now, we occasionally, from time to time, when people have been sort of very, very, very good to the Gartshore gang, and they've been sort of, up there with us, we do a concert for them. And on the coming Tuesday, we're going to perform a concert. I say we, I'm going to perform a concert. Vanessa will be performing a chat. We'll be doing the things on Tuesday night for our very, very, very close friend, an absolute wonderful guy, Mr. Joe Humans. You've seen Joe in the chat. We've showed you a picture of Joe with his fiddle. And it's Joe's birthday on Tuesday, 31st of May. So on the 31st of May, to celebrate Joe's birthday, and because Joe has been such an absolute star this year with the Gartshore gang, we're going to do a very special dedicated concert for Joe live on Tuesday night. Usual time, usual place. And Joe has sent me lists of pieces of music he would like to hear. So I'm going to put together a program of pieces for Joe for Tuesday night. So it's going to be a Tuesday night is organ music night as well. So we'll be here tonight. We just did tonight. Sunday night we'll be here. And Tuesday night we'll be here as well. So lots of live organ music coming up. It's going to be a really exciting week. And yeah, let's get that sorted out. So join us on Sunday night, but please make sure you put it in your diaries. Tuesday night, let's get a huge crowd for Joe on Tuesday night. He would appreciate it, and Vanessa and I would really appreciate it if we got an enormous crowd together for Joe, because he's an absolute wonderful guy. Joe, and of course his wife Marie, not to forget. But Joe is just an absolute wonderful guy. And he's been great over the past few weeks and months. And years, actually. And yeah, this is our way of saying thank you to Joe and also happy birthday to Joe. So anyway, let's finish off this evening with a naughty piece of music. It's called Blues My Naughty Sweetie Gave to Me. That's her.